Please, another round of applause for Ms. Shade Bennington, Madam Shade. Just right there. All right, the convener of this event, as you all know, or maybe you don't, is Dr. Ngozi Omambala. Unfortunately, she had an incident on the road and a vehicle was tampered with, so she had to go back. But she's on her way, she's fine, nothing's wrong with her, but she's on her way here and she'll be joining us shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to just give us some information before the press get into their questions for our members here. This is the first of its kind, the 5-day Artistic Pulse Festival. It's going to be happening December 3rd to 7th. It's happening just beside us here. The historic TBS is happening right here at the TBS. And the theme of the festival is Footprints of Interconnective Growth and Expansion. Sorry, I'll take that again. Footprints of Interconnective Growth and Expansion. Now, our modules are creativity, culture, commerce, and innovation. As we all know, Africa and Nigeria by proxy is now at the forefront of music, fashion, film, art, food, and technology. So this festival is going to highlight a lot of these things that we are growing in. As I said to you earlier, Mr. Ovo here has been in the fashion industry for decades. He's done multiple fashion shows. He's made stars. There's a model that I'm seeing here. And yes, I remember the time that he came and joined. So there's a lot that has been done in the span of the last decade. But right now, Nigeria is at the forefront of all of these things. And it will not be fair if we, as a chamber, as an industry, and as a force, be at the forefront of this. There are multiple organizations and even individuals profiting off our creativity. I heard, I think it was last month, that the fashion industry in Africa is worth about $30 billion currently. So if we're talking about this kind of value, where are we standing and what are we doing to create value in that ecosystem? So ladies and gentlemen, that is why we are here. The Artistic Pulse Festival is happening from the 3rd of December this year to the 7th. Our hashtag was supposed to be Messy November, as I've been told, because it was supposed to be November, but it has entered Dirty December. So I hope that it is not too dirty. Madam Shade, are you ready for Dirty December? Okay, we'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to say that alongside this is the Pan-African Annual Music Fashion Runway. It would also be happening alongside the Artistic Pulse Festival. This has happened for the last 9 years, I believe. 12? 10, I beg your pardon, 10 years. And this year's edition will be the 11th. So it's something that we have always done. I've been a part of them for the past 6. And Dr. Ngozi also graciously, has worked on this. Like I said, when it comes to music, when it comes to fashion, it is something that we have always known how to do. It's to export it to the rest of the world. The world is even just catching on to us. And it's just about, making that scene more accommodating and of course profiting off it as well. So I just want to mention again that this year we will be having the Game Changer Africa Acknowledgement Awards. I'm sure Mr. Gabriel has presented a number of those awards. We've had winners in the past, like Omotola Ekende. We've had Mr. Ade Bakare also win this award. We've had the likes of Joke Silva be present at this award, so you know that this is no small feat. We're having that again this year, and of course, we will be having a model search. Mr. Ovo, yes. All right, so more of this, the information, I don't have all of it. I'm just saying what I know. We'll be hearing more from our guest speakers. So I have one question, and I want to direct this to Mr. Gabriel Idahosa. But before we start, I'd like to confirm that control room, we have the national anthem, because I just, right? Control? Yes. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, to officially kick off the event, I would like us to get up on our feet as we take the national anthem. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You may take your seats. All right, I know the members of the press are already itching to have a go at speakers here, but I would just like to say I have a question first, and I want to direct this to Mr. Gabriel Idahosa. I know the LCCI is a big supporter of this festival, and I've been part of the LCCI's trade fair, in fact, in the past, where we've tried to, do things differently. 2 years ago, there was one here. We had the entertainment village at the back. I happened to be a part of it. We worked on the music and the comedy side of things as a comedian, as an invested stakeholder. So, sir, my question to you is, for the Artistic Pulse Festival, from the LCCI's perspective, how well, what are the key performance indicators that you use to measure, supporting something like this, and how well would you want to continue to support?
Thank you. Essentially, for us at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, our view has been that the creative industry had, up until a few years ago, not got the kind of connection with the mainstream business community. And they were just the professionals who understood the creative industry that were mostly involved and supporting the industry. And that population was a very small part of the business community. And the rest of the business community didn't really understand it. So the first thing we wanted to do in the chamber is to mainstream. As I used to tell my colleagues, that the creative industry is just as important as the oil and gas industry. If you are looking at oil and gas as a big deal, just look at the creative industry in that same manner. So that's speaking to your question about performance indicators. that the creative industry as visible should be supported as, if you like, the traditional industry that Nigeria used to live on. And because we didn't do that, we lost a lot of opportunity. And as rightly said, we now said the creative industry must be mainstreamed into the DNA of LCCI. First is to be very clear that because LCCI is an old organization, it was founded in 1888. So a lot of people maybe rightly felt LCCI, these people, they are, they are whatever, but we have clearly, not just by saying it, but taking the actions we are taking to say, yes, we are an old organization, but we are a future-facing organization. And so we are investing significantly in Nigeria's future economy. Nigeria's future economy is the creative industry, is the IT industry. It is the youth-led business. The Flutterways for this world, Flutterways $5 billion business, is managed by a young Nigerian in your own industry, creative industry. You go around the world and foreigners are telling you that the music we play in this house is from your country. And they start playing all the music, some you haven't even heard. All the releases for Davido, for Burna Boy, for Tiwa Savage, they are telling you they are in Nigeria. So that is why we felt that we should begin to be very visible in creative space and to support what Dr. Mambala is doing and a lot of other people. That clearly the entire Nigerian economy to begin to place creative industry in the same space where you are putting banking, oil and gas, telecom, and all of that. So the key performance implication is how is the creative industry showing where these other industries are showing. So during previous trade fairs, we had the event, the Creative Village, as part of it. But the perception is now growing that the creative industry can, in fact, stand on its own like this program, this 5-day program, that the creative industry itself is the main thing. It's not part of it's not part of the bigger thing. So this 5-day event is the main thing. And we want to, in fact, deliberately, intentionally get all the other parts of what in LCCI we call sectoral groups, all the businesses, there are about 27 sectoral groups across all sectors of the economy, to say that for this event, we should all be focused and see what are the ecosystem of the creative industry. There is the financing of the industry, there is the innovation, there is the equipment, there is the tourism around. There's a value chain in the creative industry that is extremely large. And until you begin to let everyone understand that there is something in the creative industry for everyone, we will not really make out with it. So that's why we are very much invested going forward in what's happening. Not just for this program, which we are very happy to support. And we have said for as many years, we've done it for 10 years, but going forward is not going to be just what you were doing for 10 years. It's going to be a much bigger event. And that's why we are happy to see that it's taking off at this level this year.
Thank you very much. Please just put hands together for it. I can already see some hands in the air. And we'll take the questions. I just want to say, sir, are you on TikTok? Because you have to be future facing, that's where the future is now. I want to know if there are some Gen Zs in the LCCI making you do the TikTok dances. So please, first of all, I want the members of the press, the invited members, to please introduce themselves, and also for questions, yes, you can take them now.
my name is Dr. George Elijah. So I'm the executive editor and the group managing director of Nigeria Standard Newspaper Incorporation in the United States, Texas, United States of America. I've covered so many shows, international shows in the US, in America, in Texas, and some other part of the United States. And I realized that this is another huge show here in Nigeria. And the question, I got two questions now. The first question I want to ask right now is, this is the first time I'm actually witnessing an American Idol winning global superstar, headlining an international artist here in Nigeria, having a huge show. So what's the inspiration, firstly, behind having this international American Idol winner here in Nigeria for the show? Secondly, second question I want to ask is that I've actually worked with so many fashion designers in the United States, like as journalists, covering them, and like Kesa Jabari, who used to be in Nigeria over the years, this is Atlanta, Georgia, and Takoba here in Nigeria, Monami, Franco Shodi, a couple of them over the years. The question is, how do you incorporate, and also cover a lot of New York Fashion Week and London fashion shows in the UK over the years, and I know the international standards kind of status. The question I want to ask right now to you now is, how do you take this, embellish the fashion concept of this particular year edition? It's going to be quite different to an international status. Having an American Idol winner coming here, taking the show to an international level, so that the whole world, because the whole world is going to witness kind of event we call right now. So how do you take it to the next level, the final level right now?
Thank you very much. I kind of almost want to start speaking my own American accent now because she. But sir, I'd like for you to take the question on fashion and answer the gentleman from Texas.
Yeah, so the first question, if we look at the theme for this year, some of the key words, one of them is interconnectivity, and the other one is growth. So over the years, one of the things we've discovered, which Mr. President also talked about, is the fact that we cannot afford to continue to exist in isolation. We cannot afford to continue to do things on our own, each sector on its own. The creative sector over the years, yes, our youths, the designers, stylists, the artists have had to push to a point. We've been preaching this for a very long time, saying that the government and the nation as a whole needs to look away from just the oil and gas, which Mr. President also emphasized this afternoon. So right now, I think for everyone in the room, it's very obvious, in terms of our commerce, in terms of the resources, in terms of even the kind of, the way that Nigeria is viewed internationally. So the best way to achieve this is by collaborating, which is one of the things that we're doing with the platform this year, because it focuses on music, on arts, on fashion, comedy. By the time you pull all of these different areas together, we're a lot stronger. I'm talking about having the international art in Nigeria. It's very strategic. So quite recently, I'm sure we're all aware, we had Ciara in Nigeria. She was at the Nikkei Art Gallery. She was at the Lagos Fashion Week. All of these different platforms. And interestingly, as at yesterday, Vogue had covered her when Naomi Campbell was asking her, what was your experience like in Nigeria? And she had fantastic things to say about her experience in Nigeria. And Naomi was even saying, oh, you have to be there again in December, for 30 December. So if you talk about publicity, if you talk about, all the angles you want to look at, getting our talents out there, getting our works out there, because she works for a young designer, at the Lagos Fashion Week. What better way of getting our brand, our excellence for the world to see? So it's really very strategic. Last year, when MFR had the 10th edition, we also had a foreign artist who had come in. She worked for one of our creative designers. She worked for Black Adudu. That really, because over the years, we've had our own artists, our own stars, wearing, the Gucci's, wearing the Versace's and other international brands. Now we're saying that our designs are excellent enough for any of the top stars in any part of the world, you understand, to showcase them. So it's a collaboration, and which is why, I mean, every time I get the opportunity to do this, I want to say a big thank you to the press, because without you, all of the good and fantastic and amazing works that the designers do and our talents do, if we don't publish it on the rooftops, people don't get to know what we have. And it's one of the things that I believe we also need to learn from the West. A lot of times when we watch on most of the news channels from the West, it just seems like America or any of those parts are the best places in the world, because they always publish their strengths, they publish the good parts of what they offer, So if most of the time what they publish about us is, for anyone who's never been to Nigeria or to Africa, they just have the impression that maybe people live on trees and all of those funny, images that they have. So without you as the media getting the word out there, people won't get to know what we have to offer, which is why it's a good thing that social media has now given us that equal, level playing ground. And like, Kolabide said, maybe Mr. President also needs to be on TikTok, because, that's where you get to communicate with the rest of the world what we have to offer. On Instagram, if you're seeing excellence from any other part, we're also showcasing from Nigeria. So there's really, I think it's a good time for the industry, and I'm particularly very, very excited about all the key stakeholders coming together, pulling our strengths together, so that we can give the world, the best that Africa has to offer. I've had the privilege of experiencing international models from different parts of the world, and I can boldly say that Nigeria has some of the most stunning models in the entire world. Honestly, yes, I think we need to put our hands together for that. Nigeria has, when you talk about diversity, other countries, if you go to Sudan, the Sudanese have a particular look, you can easily tell. If you go to Ethiopia, one of the times I passed through Ethiopia, they were everybody almost looking alike. But when you come to Nigeria, you have the dark complexion, you have the light complexion, you have the cheekbones, whatever spec you want. God has richly blessed us in terms of beauty, in terms of creativity, and it's a good opportunity for us to share what we have with the world. Now, just finally, so that I don't take all of the time, to also answer the last question you asked, there's a project that I've personally embarked on. It's called the UK Fashion Project. And what we do is that we select some of our most outstanding designers, from the established designers to emerging new talents. And then when I travel, rather than picking all the other foreign and Western designs, I wear strictly African designs. I wear, like the footwear I'm putting on, this is made by King David here in Nigeria. The last time I was in the UK, I wore one of his designs, and almost everybody that had the opportunity to stop me, to say, oh, where did you have this? Where did you buy this? And I said, this is made in Nigeria. And I can assure you, in terms of durability, it's something I wore. If you move across the different parts of London, you can't just wear something that is not really very durable. Very strong footwear that I use for different events, and it didn't just have the beauty, but also had the durability. Now, yeah, I mean, a lot of people found it very funny, because I was traveling with a lot of things. We know usually when you travel light, so that you can bring in so much back to Nigeria. But I left here with, so much of the excellence and so much of the uniqueness that Nigeria has to offer. And I'm very glad that we had fantastic reviews. People loved, they took pictures, and I could boldly say that all of these items from head to toe were made from young, creative, amazing designers from Nigeria. So it's very doable, but it's not something that one person can do together, which is what this platform is trying to achieve. And with the help of LCCI, with the help of all of the respective bodies and the press, I believe that we achieve the results that we want. Thank you.
Let's put our hands together for Mr. Ogo. I think that, we need to really, really appreciate our own, like he mentioned. I just want to ask Mr. Ogo, what's your shoe size? Because I'm really liking that your shoe. All right, just very quickly, I know that there's some more questions. I just want to pose this to Madam Shale. You have been with the Chamber of Commerce for years, and even now as an honorary vice president. I want to ask, for an event or for a platform as such as this, where the theme is creativity meets commerce, what are some mechanisms that we can put in place to make sure that this is not just a place to showcase our excellence? Like Mr. Ogo has said, of course we want to do that, but how do we also leave with tangible business leads, mentorships, access to markets, funding, especially through partners like the LCCI, like Nasima? How is it a place that we don't just come and see all the glitz and glamour, but we leave with something really tangible, man? There's a microphone right there.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm not sure I'm the right person to answer this question because, to be frank, I'm not really sure of how much time is going to be devoted to one-on-one networking and so on. Let me go back a little bit. Arts and crafts and cultural industries and creative industries in Nigeria originally suffered from the lack of exposure, and this country is just so rich. It's unbelievably rich in culture. And this whole area is something we can be doing things every year and still not finish exposing, bringing to light the talent and ingenuity that we have. Because our culture is so rich. I should say our cultures, although we have a Nigerian culture, but it's made up of so many other cultures. And so I would like to think that, first of all, I must commend Dr. Mabara, because it's not easy to take on something like this. But she is somebody who is very bold, she's very committed, and she knows what she's doing. So I look forward. Well, I'm not going to be here because I'm going to be at another festival, which is an ECOWAS cultural, arts and cultural festival, which is going to coincide, unfortunately. But it just shows you that, we are finally understanding the importance of culture. Our creative industries can be nothing without that culture. And they depend on what? Look, this Ashoke, it's very old actually. Some people are collecting Ashoke. I happen to have a piece or two that are over 100 years old. They're all here because it's passed down, But the point I'm making is the scope is enormous. The scope is enormous, and when you put something like this together, because I've had the opportunity to even exhibit, but to participate in an arts and crafts cultural show in Ouagadougou. Yes, Ouagadougou. That is, which country is Ouagadougou? Good. But when I first started going there, 1998, it was Upper Volta. They had this thing every 2 years. I might be digressing a little bit, but if I'm here, I think it's because you want me to tell some stories that come a long way. I was working for X as a freelance translation interpreter at a time when we had somebody who was a deputy executive secretary from Upper Post, as it was said. I got to be friendly with his wife, and his wife saw that I was using ashoke cloth and tie-dye to make jackets and also. She said, "Ah, these are very beautiful." So, and then she loved art, fine art, and sculpture. And she came to me one day, she said, "Shade, I don't understand. In my country, we have every 2 years, we have this festival, and Nigeria is not there." And sure, I went to prove the point, unfortunately, that Nigeria was not there. So we've moved from that. But I don't want to sound like criticizing. Oh, so much. But the different crafts and aspects of creative industries have to really come together within their own communities and make sure that what is necessary has to be done. And this is where the chamber comes in. A lot of people who have the talent, they don't know how to do the business or the business side. And then again, I know that, I mean, for instance, in America, you have managers, there's a whole value chain. It's not the artist himself that is going to do everything. I think we need to get to that stage. And if we do, we're going to employ a lot of people. But those people have to be their capacity to do the best in their specific area has to be built. And that's where I think the chamber is coming in, because in our creative industries and entertainment group, which Dr. Mambala has ably and wonderfully led for 2 years, there is now this confidence. We have people who are very, very well versed in whatever they're doing, who are mingling with those who are just starting out. So I hope that this experience that is being put together will be an opportunity for both the young and the not so young to get together, share their experiences, because everybody has something different to bring to the table, but everybody has to work together. And we have to realize that if we want to make money out of these things, and if the businesses are to be sustainable, that it's not just the actual talent side. And let me say one thing. We're talking about fashion runways. Let me tell you, for a fact, I know that our leather bags are being used on runways and have been for at least 10 years in Los Angeles, London, and so on. You would never know. The best leather bags, I believe, in the world. Yes, some of them, they are works of art themselves. I proudly only carry Nigerian leather bags. I have not bought a foreign bag. I can't remember how long ago. And I give them as gifts. So, well done to Gozi. And these events, when somebody puts them together, they are what you make of it. So it's up to you to get the best out of it. And I wish I could be in 2 places at the same time. But I'm even thinking, can we not use the technology to take this thing that is happening in Nigeria over to the ECOWAS festival? I want us to see what we can do about it, because that's what we should be doing. If we can't go there physically, we have so much art, but we can't carry it. And we have experts also that can speak on topics. When we had something on ECOWAS at 50, the first panel that we had was entertainment, creative industries, tourism, sports, and as a means of bringing us together as a people, as an ECOWAS community. Because you can't trade with people that you don't know or trust. You've got to, and we are appreciated, so let's use that soft power and make sure that we go where we're supposed to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for Madam Shade. I believe, yes, what it is that she's hammering on is things that are very possible. Like Mr. Ovo said, the theme for this year is interconnectivity. Even if we can't physically be maybe in Dakar, for instance, there's Zoom, there's cameras, you know, we can showcase without being physically there. Madam, have you considered any bit of modeling yourself? Because, I mean, your strut, your walk, I'm sure that you're very well poised to get on the runway. So, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now okay. The floor is now open. We're going to be taking questions from the audience. And I know that a lot of people have, you know, probably more questions. So sorry about that. I know a lot of people have more questions about the festival, and it's unfortunate that the convener herself isn't here, but I'm sure the members here, and maybe myself, will be able to take some of the questions that we have. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Miss Yemisi Ransom Kuti. I'm not one of the last 28 wives. I'm the head of the Ransom Kuti family. And I was so delighted when Ngozi asked me to come to this press briefing. We've been working with Ngozi. When I say we, it's an organization called Lagos Island Connect. It's an organization that's looking at connectivity at the local level. Because as we all know, the fact that we have not developed as effectively as we should, or we could have in Nigeria, is that at the local level, the structure, the level of development, and the capacity to achieve that development is not really there. So the Lagos Chamber of Commerce is part of Lagos Island Connect, LIC as we call it. Ms. Bebetum Young is part of it. And I'm looking to bring you on board as well. You're looking like one of the kind of partners that we need. And members of the press that are here too, a message that should go across the nation, that we in our local governments must organize ourselves more effectively to partner with the private sector, the public sector, the development partners, and the young people in particular, to ensure that they are on board with the planning, the strategic, the policy making, and the areas of competitive advantage of what local government has to offer. And since Lagos Island is so rich, and the heritage sites, Kiara, you were talking about, came to John Randall Museum not long ago. The man that manages the John Randall Museum, Onikepo Kudus, as he's called, has Q Dance just down the road from the Sangros area. We have the museum, we have the Freedom Park, we have wonderful little restaurants. The Yayaba is actually a global icon. The Yayaba restaurant, Lagos Island. We have so many things to. What we want to do is partner with Ngozi and the Pulse Festival. The organization is driven by young people. I have one sitting right next to me here, Mr. Anima Sham, who is an events manager. He is a qualified professional in his own right. But I have these young people that come in to volunteer, to be part of developing the ecosystem, the environment, the history, the culture, and even the partnership with the state government. We have the state government on board as well. When we are planning the city itself, we have to plan it collectively so that it reflects the culture, the artistic, the creative aspect of it. And we have this joined up development that we need. And we also promote a particular policy called the 2-kilometer rule, where we advocate in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce that everyone purchases goods and services within 2 kilometers of where they live and work. That is you, as an individual, investing in your local economy. Because I'm so happy that everyone here is talking about wearing made in Nigeria. I mean, I've been doing it for years. I'm one of your models, you campaigning for that. And anywhere I travel to, I go with my Nigerian, African, and everybody loves it. There's, I mean, the foreigners don't admire you in their own clothes. They admire your own creativity. They applaud it. They are awed by the kind of stuff we're producing in Nigeria. Our music, our clothing, our everything, our food. You know, we're the new kid on the block, really. Although we're the oldest kid on the block. Africa is the cradle of mankind. That's where creativity started. So I think humankind has come this full circle, where Africa is now expressing itself in its fullness. And we all have to embrace it and honor it and show what we have as a people and what the world needs from us, not what we need from the world. And that investment in your environment is what we want from this particular book and all the programs in the LITF, because we don't want to be raped like the Oyinbos. They come, they rape you, or they mine your goods, they do their whatever event and they go. We want the event to be part of what develops the economy of that local government. We want the outreach, the restaurants. We want your visitors to know about what else is happening in Lagos Island. So they will also come and benefit. The visitors will come, they will invest. When they go back, they will tell stories of Lagos Island. So the press, when you are covering this particular event, please visit the other wonderful things that the Lagos Island community has to offer. And we really wish, Ngozi, we're part of the partnership, so we wish us all a very amazing and successful event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for Mrs. I beg your pardon. Miss. It's Miss. Okay. Miss Yemisi Ransom Kusi. Let's put our hands together for. I'm so sorry about that. Madam, are you single? Because I have someone.
I'm 78 years.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Age is just a number.
Introduce him to my daughter.
Okay, man. Okay. Maybe his mommy that are like, oh, who knows? I'm joking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have been hearing the name Ngozi Onambala a lot, and yes, I'm sure there's been a lot of questions, a lot of people that don't already know are wondering, who is this lady, who is this woman, what's going on with she? As we mentioned earlier, she's the convener of this festival. She's also the vice chairman of NASIMA, the Creative Economic Trade Group. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Ngozi Onambala. She has finally arrived in one piece. We are glad to have her here. We also have another special guest of ours. She is the Commissioner of the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative, Trade and Investment. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Honorable Commissioner Folashade Kausarat Ambrose. Oh, okay. I thought she's coming. She'll join us soon. All right. Now all the questions can flow. Yes, the one person that I can guarantee could answer every single question you have is here. Dr. Ngozi, a lot of people are waiting for you and they want to fire, so I hope you are ready. We know that you had some issues, but we're glad to have you here. Before you arrived, we talked about, the partnership of the festival with the LCCI. Mr. Gabriel did tell us, some of the indicators that we use to measure the creative industry against, the oil and gas. We talked about the fashion industry. There's a gentleman here from Texas who put some questions to Mr. O, try to persuade him with that American accent, but Mr. O said, come on, this is what we do here for decades, and answered him in fine fashion. But we also have other members of the press who I'm sure are itching to go, so now is the time. If you have any questions, please put your hand up and we'll get the microphone to you. We're not shy now, are we? Any questions?
Can
Okay.
I just,
Yeah,
just butt in, sorry. Just out of courtesy, I want to, I am so sorry for being late to my own press conference. I know we're talking about fashion, we're talking about the creative sector, and I've been fashionably late, just like the commissioner, she's coming. In fact, I spoke to her, she goes, perfect timing. But I'm so glad that this has been able to have happened in my absence. This is what we call teamwork, this is what we call collaborations and partnerships. I'm really happy that I'm seeing all the people that I've invited who are total professionals. And apologies again, and thank you so much for coming. You don't want to hear my story because you won't believe it, but the fact that I had somebody else in the car is a testament to what happened, but it's a miracle that we were here. So thank you so much.
thank God, and we thank God that you're able to make it here. So, in the absence of any question right now, I do have a question, which kind of had already been asked earlier, but I just want to get your perspective on it. Our headliner this year is an international musician. She won the competition American Idol, and I mean, who doesn't know that famous song with Chris Brown, No Air? If you know No Air, then you know who I'm speaking about, Jordan Sparks. So I want to ask Dr. Ngozi Amambala, how, first of all, did that happen? And secondly, what are we expecting to see at the Artistic Pulse Festival that has such a very elite, headliner such as, Jordan Sparks?
Right, you're not the first person to ask me that question. It was a deliberate choice. As you know, I've been in the industry now for about 30 years, from the UK to Nigeria. And the entertainment industry in Nigeria, I feel, is really upscaling itself. It's elevated. Our artists are doing very well internationally.
Please, can we put our phones on silent? So sorry about that. Please put your phones on silent. Thank you very much.
I'm going to be honest here. I feel as if our artists are doing so well internationally, but they're not doing enough at home. We call ourselves the Day Ones. We've been nurturing a lot of these artists from their very early careers, and a lot of them have priced themselves out of the market at home in Nigeria. You try getting an A-list artist to perform in Nigeria, and you will hear some ridiculous numbers. It's just unaffordable. And I feel that there should be a bit more camaraderie within our entertainment sector when it comes to us doing, especially the creative arts, at home. So it actually is more cost-effective bringing an international artist into Nigeria than actually, would you believe, booking a Nigerian artist. And that is the truth. But on top of that as well, I don't mince my words, I'm really happy about what's happening to Nigerian artists abroad. And I understand that everybody has to earn their keep. And earning the dollars is key. Obviously it works with the FX. The FX we're not smiling at home. But at the same time, there should be some kind of camaraderie, I feel, within the sector, especially when we're trying to develop the industry at home and we're trying to promote tourism, we're trying to promote the creative sectors, we're trying to create an enabling environment where we can all flourish. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because Jordan Sparks, she's a global name. We are trying to shine the light globally on the Nigerian, the African creative sector. what you're finding is a lot of Americans want to come they see Nigeria, Africa as home. They want to come. They want to integrate with the creative industry over here. There's nothing in collaborations. There's nothing wrong in partnerships. That's another reason why Jordan Sparks, in as much as she's a global phenomenon, she has that song, as Colin has quite rightly said, No Air with Chris Bell, which has over 500 million views globally. Why wouldn't we want to bring such a force of nature to Nigeria to perform and to integrate? She's an actress, she's a Grammy nominee, she has over 8.5 million followers on Facebook, 2.5 million on Instagram, 1.4 on TikTok. Why wouldn't we want to bring a force of nature like that to see what we have here? She's never been to the continent before. This will be her first time. She's coming with her son, she's coming with her husband, and she wants to put on a fantastic performance because she really cannot wait to come home. So, in a nutshell, those are the reasons why I think it was a no-brainer for me. And it's also to say that, please, our industry must come together. Just because we've blown, that doesn't mean we should forget about where we've come from. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for that very passionate response. I really appreciate that. Before you came, we were talking about TikTok. We wanted to get Mr. Gabriel on TikTok. Now that you mentioned it, I want to find out if you are on TikTok, because that's where the Gen Zs, that's where the future is at. So, Dr. Ngozi, are you on TikTok? And if you are not, we need to sign you up right now.
Have you been to my TikTok account?
Wow, I haven't. I don't think
I've been on
I've checked it
TikTok
out.
for about 2-3 years.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm down as Dr. Ngozi Mambala.
Okay.
And, I'm still navigating, but I'm seeing that TikTok is the spot. It's the place to be. Are you?
Me? I have 25,000 followers.
Oh, wow.
All the dances I do them.
Oh, wow.
Anyone, I do it.
Okay. No,
But yes.
You're right. TikTok, social media really is a phenomenon that we have to work with. And if you're not in there, if you're not working alongside social media, then you're really going to make yourself obsolete. It's really important to be, in front of the curve, and also, technically speaking, with technology. I mean, it's something that you have to be intentional about, and work with it, because that is what is driving the creative sector at the moment. And there's nothing you can do about it. Either you're in, you're out, or you think or swim.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, I have a question here.
Thank you, Dr. Bala, for surviving whatever ordeal you had to face this morning. It must have been serious for you, knowing you, for you to have had to miss some of the parts of this event. Thank you so much for, in spite of that, we're not talking to you in a hospital bed somewhere. You're actually here. Thank you. We're partners in LIC. I spoke to this about LIC a while ago. I don't know if you caught any of it. Dr. Mbala is one of our members, and we've been working with her on this wonderful program that she's put together. My question is more to do with the environment that we need for these types of events to be maximally successful in terms of the roads that lead to the event, the security around the communities that host such events, whatever aesthetics that will motivate people and endear people to have an experience that is truly memorable and is not punctuated by some lovely boys and girls that we have, because you're having it on Lagos side, and let me be specific, area boys and girls. They call them lovely boys and girls now, but whatever name that they are called, how are we going to engage with the authorities to ensure that they become ambassadors of the culture, the beauty, the creativity of us as Africans, of us as Nigerians. What advice would you give to the government, and what proactive steps do you think this organization, Chamber of Commerce, and others can actually take to ensure that we provide that? I mean, we go to, what's the one in Salisbury? The Glastonbury Festival, and it's the whole city that's involved in this festival. People wander all over the place. It's not just the music, the site of the event, but the whole community is part of that excitement. So how can you bring that into, because this is, I hope it's not going to be the first and last one, it's the beginning of a very, very exciting journey. So what kind of advice can you give the government and other stakeholders to make sure that this is an immemorable, that is, is remembered, is celebrated, and people are excited to come year in and year out? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Madam Yemisi has asked me about 10 questions in one, which is good. Let me just start by saying, you really have to make small steps in order to reassure people that what we're actually doing is quite credible, and what we're doing is for everybody. It's inclusive. And my thing is, hello, hello, the Artistic Pulse Festival.
Come on, let's put our hands together for that. Absolutely fantastic. So I would just like to remind us again, for those of us that are just joining, or if you were not around in the beginning, the Artistic Pulse Festival is happening on the 3rd of December, all the way through to the 7th of December. It was supposed to be a messy November, but it is a dirty December. Of course, as you just mentioned, we're having a lot of music, fashion, film screenings, Nollywood, food, art, technology, and the festival will also feature symposiums, debates, very strong worded debates, and we'll have a children's corner, the art gallery, creative workshops, and of course the trade fair will be happening alongside it. So in the absence of any questions, I would like to take pictures. Yes.
Just say one more thing, sorry. I know I was late and everything else, but there's just a couple of things I want to include. The film festival in here. So where you are now is our actual film festival. Symposiums are going to be happening here, just like you've seen here, and we're going to be doing some short screenings, some documentaries. So you can see it's a beautiful, beautiful, little intimate and very relaxing film house. So, we're going to have an app, we're going to have an itinerary, and we've got some fantastic screenings as well. Just thought I'd mention that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And big thanks to Blue Picture Cinemas for partnering with us for this. So here are the guest speakers for our press conference, Mr. Ovo Ogofure, Mr. Gabriel Ida Rosa, Madam Shadi Pembetumion, Dr. Ngozi. Thank you very much. And to the members of the press and every single person here, we thank you for coming out. We hope to see you in December when the Artistic Pulse Festival kicks off.